2006 AD, 5900 AM. NASA's SWIFT satellite detected a gamma-ray burst indicating a birth of a supernova 440 million light-years away in Aries. Astronomers published the existence of 200 known extrasolar planets, 23% of these being exoplanets. In this year, Hubble Space Telescope discovered 16 planets, 26,000 light-years away, that orbit their parent stars rapidly, some even orbiting their stars in only 10 Earth hours. Discovery of UB313 is now made known to the public, a moon-side object beyond Pluto in the Kuiper belt called Eris. A meteorite entered Earth's atmosphere and collided into a mountain in Reisadalen, Norway, with a force equal to the Hiroshima bomb. Between July 2nd and 3rd, a large asteroid half a mile wide ascended from below the ecliptic and passed between Earth and the Moon, travelling at 40,000 miles per hour, vanishing again. It has passed completely undetected at first. Good Morning America on ABC initially reported the sighting, but within 15 minutes all subsequent news articles changed their focus to the earlier discovery and known asteroid Apophis, which had nothing to do with this new unknown asteroid. This same asteroid has a complete 92-year orbit, 52 years below the ecliptic and 40 years over the ecliptic, and will travel over the Sun for 40 years. And upon its descending node in 40 years, in 2046 AD, this asteroid will collide into the North American continent, ending the United States. Scientists assert that the magnetic North Pole has wandered 500 miles since it was first measured in 1831, the polar shift now accelerating 25 miles a year. This polar wandering is due to the rapid approach of Phoenix 34 years away, that will in 2040 initiate a total pole shift cataclysm, as well as the approach of the much larger Nibiru 40 years away. A quake in Jakarta, Indonesia killed 5,000 and triggered volcanism from Mount Merapi. Scientists at the Collège de Paris in France discovered that humans have core geometrical knowledge embedded within their brains, another evidence of the isometric reality of our space-time structure. This author's book, Lost Scriptures of Giza, was published in 2006, the first book demonstrating completely the real history and purpose of the Great Pyramid of Giza and the deliberate misinformation published about the mysterious non-Egyptian monument. There are in this year 111 confirmed elements in existence, but as many as 118 awaiting confirmation officially. This year begins the conclusion of 118 Jubilees, 50-year periods of ancient Hebrews. Only 2 Jubilees remaining until Armageddon, 100 years. The entire 6,000 years of mankind's curse is 120 Jubilees, the number 120 representing the foundation of something. It will likewise be discovered that there are 120 elements that make up the material creation. All others beyond 120 are composites of the others. The tallest tree in the world on record is discovered at 379.1 feet in Redwood National Park, called Hyperion, name of a titan. Isometric year, 1990 AD. Hubble Space Telescope begins a whole new era of astronomy and discoveries. 1 USA Today. 2. 2007 Almanac. 2007 AD, 5901 AM. Exactly 1,080 years after it was buried in 927 AD, a Viking hoard of coins was discovered in England. See 927 AD. Michael Jersa, an Assyriologist, discovered an ancient tablet record of Nebo-Sarsekim, a Babylonian eunuch who was found mentioned in the biblical book of Jeremiah in the Old Testament. The tablet record dates to the 9th year of the reign of King Nebuchadnezzar II. Zawi Hawass of Egypt matched a tooth from a box with the name of the famous Queen Hatshepsut with an unidentified mummy in the possession of the Antiquities Department, she having ruled over 35 centuries earlier. Paleontologist Mary Schweitzer discovered proteins in a fossil of a Tyrannosaurus rex. In February, off the coast of New Zealand, a fisherman caught a living colossal squid, larger than a giant squid, weighing about 1,000 pounds. It was 33 feet long and was caught in the act of devouring an Antarctic toothfish. It is believed that the colossal squid can get much larger. Isometric year 1989 AD. 2008 AD 5902 AM. Russian loyalists in Georgia plan to secede to Russia, and the Georgian military responds with strikes against the traitors. Russia responds with a full-scale military invasion of Georgia during the opening ceremonies of the 2008 Olympics in China. A lunar eclipse was followed by a 6.0 magnitude quake in Nevada, USA, and another quake in Indonesia 3 days later. On March 18th, the sky over San Antonio and parts of southern Texas rained mud from a clear sky. Local meteorologists claimed that the dirt falling from the sky was from brush fires in Mexico. A lie. On May 8th, 731 tornadoes had afflicted the USA since the start of the year. Also in May and June, quakes killed 68,000 people in China. In May, a cyclone killed 100,000 in Myanmar or Burma. Europeans begin plans to build a gigantic telescope, 138 foot wide, paralleling 138-year orbit of planet Phoenix, to search the heavens for exoplanets, a building that will stand 21 stories high and located in the southern hemisphere, where Nibiru will be clearly seen as it approaches. In this year, the Phoenix lander touched down on Mars and took soil samples, searching for signs of life. Water was discovered on Mars. The world televised Super Bowl was in Phoenix, Arizona, and on April 21st over the city of Phoenix were filmed UFOs shown on national television. In this year, When the Sun Darkens, about planet Phoenix's return in 2040 AD, was accepted for publication by Booktree in San Diego, released in 2009. An official royal seal that had belonged to Queen Jezebel of Phoenicia, Israel, was discovered, the wife of the Israelite king Ahab. She is painted as an evil princess who introduced Baal worship in Israel and murdered the prophets of God, ever seeking to kill Elijah. This year was 2592 years, 864 times 3, after the fall of Judah. The Bush family ends their rule over the United States, having maintained 144 months of rule, 4 years of Bush Sr. and 8 years of Bush Jr. The influence of the Bushes extends much deeper than the presidency, Bush Sr. having been the director of the CIA, and his father Prescott Bush, influential in international commerce, found guilty of criminality in the Trading with the Enemy Act, when his aid of the Nazi Party was discovered. Bush Sr. took office as the President of the United States in 1988, this year's isometric year. This isometric projection begins and ends with blood-related presidents both named George Bush. Barack Hussein Obama is elected as the first black president of the United States, his campaign rocketing him to instant fame by the immeasurable wealth of foreign organizations and individuals who funded his emergence. His chief ally was the Jewish-controlled media that heralded him as a black messiah. Born in a foreign country of parents from Kenya, Africa, Obama and his handlers have effectively blocked all American demands from government requests to private litigation, seeking proof of his constitutional right to be president, a birth certificate authenticating his lie that he was born in the US. Obama is an anti-American socialist and closet Muslim, vehemently against Christianity and the ideals of the founding fathers of the Anglo-Saxon government of the USA. However, he is also the dark fulfillment of an ancient prophecy against Ephraim, future blood-descended Israel, America. Quote, "You shall be defeated by your enemies. Those who hate you shall reign over you. The alien who is among you shall rise higher and higher above you, and you shall come down lower and lower." Unquote. Leviticus and Deuteronomy. Since the dawn of the white-dominated Western world civilization in 753 BC, with the start of Rome, predecessor of the United States Empire, the administration of European governments from monarchies to democracies has always been headed by white men and women, and the history of ancient Israel is the same, having assimilated these Caucasian cultures as well. But with the election of Barack Obama, 2,760 years of precedent was broken in that a black man became the head of the Western world, this being 552 times 4 years, 4 Phoenix cycles. Isometric year 1988 AD, Bush Sr. became President of the United States. 1. The Poison King. 2009 AD, 5903 AM. President Obama inaugurated as first black president of the United States, exactly 144 years, golden proportion number, after 1865 AD, when blacks in the South were freed when the Union defeated the Confederacy in the American Civil War. US forces still occupy Iraq and continue fighting against hostile elements. An A330 Airbus, French, crashed into the Atlantic from Rio de Janeiro to Paris. Isometric year 1987 AD, Iraq and war with Iran. 2010 AD, 5904 AM. The Gulf oil disaster was caused by faulty equipment of British Petroleum, formerly called the Anglo-Persian Oil Company, in the Gulf of Mexico, which initiated the worst man-made ecological disaster in history. Adding to the ruin of the sea life was the immense amount of toxic chemicals employed as oil dispersants. The breach may have caused natural fracturing of the seabed, which involves more leakage that cannot be contained. The toll on Gulf sea life is incalculable. This author's book, Anunnaki Homeworld, concerning return of planet Nibiru in 2046 AD, and Return of the Anunnaki Watchers, was finished and submitted for publication, but not released till late 2011. This book unveils the true orbital history of our planet Earth, and the geometrical timelines encoded in the Great Pyramid's measurements that relate to 2046 AD, Anunnaki invasion, destruction of North America in 2046, and return of the Watchers to Earth. Incidentally, 2010 AD is 6,048 years, 864 times 7, since Earth began the present orbit around the Sun, which changes in 2046 AD. This year was also 3456 years, 864 times 4, after the exodus of Israel from Egypt, and 5448 years, pyramid inch height of present Great Pyramid, since the Anunnaki first descended and interacted with humans in 3439 BC. In this year, this author also finished Descent of the Seven Kings, the full history of the Anunnaki presence on Earth. Isometric year 1986 AD, nuclear disaster of Chernobyl, Ukraine facility that contaminated Europe, previously unknown chamber found inside Great Pyramid. 2011 AD, 5905 AM. A submarine quake in the Pacific results with a terrific tsunami that devastates Japan, killing tens of thousands and causing a major nuclear meltdown incident. The controversy over the foreign identity of President Obama intensifies as his wife, First Lady Michelle, squanders US wealth with expenditures that no prior First Lady has ever had authority to spend. The American bitterness over the abuses of power and blocks on all investigations into Obama's identity intensify, with major US population backing of the Tea Party movement that is largely censored by the anti-American media. Isometric year 1985 AD. Cyclone in India killed 10,000 and quakes afflict Mexico and South America. 2012 AD, 5906 AM. Celebrated end of the Mayan long count in December, which is wrong. At the start of 2012, Anunnaki Homeworld is made available around the world, which exhibits charts showing that the Mayan long count could not have ended in 2012, but ends exactly in the summer of 2046 AD. The transit of Venus occurs in 2012. Israel will conduct military strikes against Arab countries or country, and in the United States there will be a racial riot. Isometric year 1984 AD. Civil war in Lebanon with Israeli involvement. Temple Institute in Jerusalem begun. Iran-Iraq war continues. This ends Chronicon 2.